to say personally, it's been the lowest key build-up to a World Cup I can remember. I really can't really be bothered with it, to be honest. Far too many teams, far too much politics surrounding it. But obviously there's some Rangers interest, Andy. We've got 4 players, well, 3 players in the Scotland squad, technically. Lawrence Shankland will become a Rangers player during the tournament. I think Shankland's made his case to start. Is that fair for Scotland? I think he's in such a rich vein of form. He's absolutely flying.
I would have been tempted to start him certainly against Haiti in a game that we have to be looking to score goals. I'd have been tempted to start him even before the 2 warm-up friendlies that we've had against Curacao and Bolivia, but I think his performances in both those games have absolutely cemented that he will be the starting centre forward, whether it's Lyndon Dykes or Shea Adams. Remains to be seen. I think obviously Adams has performance as well. Will have gone a long way to sort of nailing down his place as well. I think the fact is the 2 of those guys are just the more natural goal scorers than Lyndon Dykes. Lyndon Dykes has absolutely got strengths and has been a huge figure for the national team for the last few years. But I think when it comes to the opener against a team that we really should be beating, we need to get perhaps even look to run up a few goals. And for me, it's Shankland and Adams. And then I would be surprised to see Findlay Curtis playing a big part as well. I think Ben Gannon Doak with his performance against Bolivia's maybe made a late run to get a starting slot, but I think Findlay Curtis, the way he's performed and just the freshness he's brought to the squad and certainly the way that Steve Clarke's spoken about him, I think you can expect to see him playing a part off the bench come, well, I'm going to say Saturday night. It's really Sunday morning, isn't it? So, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be, I agree with you, some of the stuff that's going on over there with the ticket prices, fans getting, basically shafted by FIFA and even the sort of local authorities over there, things like £100 bus tickets to take you a 10-minute trip for Boston out to the stadium, and then all the other sort of stuff that goes with Donald Trump has sort of left a sort of bad taste in the mouth ahead of this. But listen, once the action gets underway, I'm sure we'll all forget about that and we can concentrate on what we're all there for, and that's to see some pretty good football, and hopefully Scotland go a long way.
I think from a kind of Rangers fan point of view, the first thing I'd say is, Lawrence, please don't get injured. It's kind of, Liam Kelly's not going to play, so I know he signed a new contract and whatnot, but he's there very much as a squad member. John Souttar might play. I think we're looking at Findlay Curtis and Lawrence Shankland to maybe see what we might get next season. Findlay Curtis, Steve Clarke seems to rate him much higher than Danny Rowe did, but I think he's impressed out at Kilmarnock, although very different pressures, very different tactics, very different environment.
I think in Rowe's defence, I think Curtis needed a run of games. I mean, he'd played bits and pieces there, but for me, he was still very raw. And as much as there was nice moments, there were other games where I thought he struggled, and he needed that run of games at a really good level. And I mean, I spoke to Barry Ferguson for his column last week about this, and he was entirely right. The thing that impressed me most about that move was that he went to Kilmarnock. He didn't go to a team that was safe in mid-table or go to a championship team where there wasn't the same jeopardy involved. He's gone to a Premiership team that are right down the bottom end of the table, up against it, fighting for their lives. And not only has he went there and contributed, he's made a huge contribution. I think it's 5 goals in 14 games, a couple of assists as well. I think you'll ask Kilmarnock fans, I think you can see by the way that Kelly sort of claimed them as their own to an extent, I think, much to the disgruntlement of the Rangers support online anyway. But I think they appreciate what he did for them. And now, obviously, the next steps for him is now Rangers and obviously Scotland. That's a huge step up. But I think you've seen from the signs, the way he took his goal against Curacao, I mean, for me, that's what Findlay Curtis is all about. One touch and get a shot away. I think he's so direct. His first instinct is always to get a shot away. So, I think that's he should be looking to make his mark. I don't think he'll start many of the games, but I say 15, 20 minutes there, especially at the end of games, those could be crucial periods when Scotland are looking for energy, and somebody with a bit of zest and maybe just a bit of fearlessness. I think that's what he'll bring. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how he gets on.
Yeah, my big thing with Findlay Curtis is I don't think he's the world's best winger, but what he certainly is, he's certainly got an eye for goal. Yeah. He seems to see the gaps in the goal rather than the goalkeeper. A lot of young players see the goalkeeper and hit it straight at him, whereas Curtis always seems to find the bottom corner, at least the ball's heading in that direction.
I agree with you. He's not, for me, he's not a winger. He's a wide forward. I'd like to see him once he maybe fills out a bit and matures a wee bit, get a run through the middle. Right now, he's basically shunted out to the side because you're not going to stick a 19-year-old kid up front. And I still think he's got a bit of growing, a bit of filling out to do. But I think as he progresses, you'll see him later on in his career being an out-and-out centre forward.
Two other guys, Rangers interested in the World Cup, maybe for different reasons, is Nico Raskin and Theo Lasgard. Especially with the latter, I think we're all hoping that he might put in the kind of performances that we haven't, seen at Ibrox, and perhaps some mug championship team might come in with an offer. And Raskin, who I think will leave this summer, we'll probably already get big money for him, but a decent World Cup for Belgium could add a few pounds onto that. Nico Raskin's a guy, as you know, I've been very critical of. I think he flatters to deceive a lot of the time. I think his mouth's, bigger than his actual talent. But, World Cup, he's clearly a talented boy. He doesn't always show that on the pitch, but it'd be nice, and we're going to come to, building for the new season, but knowing what sort of money we might be coming in for Raskin, would help us build. We need to kind of wait for that. A transfer for him,
Yeah, I mean, for me,
can make things happen.
Yeah, for me, I think this is probably the right time for a partner ways with Nico Raskin. I think you're right. I think he probably disappoints more than he impresses. The trouble is, the games that he impresses are the ones that people remember because invariably he is very good. And I think he lives off the reputation of those kind of performances. I'm thinking about, a Fenerbahce away, a Celtic away last season, when he was absolutely terrific, ran the show alongside Mohamed Diamande, and I think a lot of people are thinking this is a guy that Rangers should really be building their team around. But then, I go back to pieces I wrote last season, right after those games, Rangers went to St Mirren, they went to Dundee, and Raskin and Diamande were bullied just by guys who were, just a bit more physical than them. Certainly weren't, anywhere near their footballing ability, but they were able to dominate them just with desire and determination and a bit of physicality. And I think to be a proper Rangers midfielder, you have to be able to outfight people as well as outplay them. So for me, I think if Rangers can, if Nico Raskin can have a positive World Cup, and listen, you're playing alongside the likes of De Bruyne and Yuri Tielemans. I mean, he's got everything in his favour in that sense. I mean, all he needs to do is get the ball and give it to those guys, and he'll look like a superstar on that basis. So I think if he can have a reasonably decent World Cup, then offers might come in. I'm not sure that you'll get I think, you've all heard down the years punters going, oh, he's worth 20, 25. I don't think they'll get anything near that. I think if they're getting towards double figures, they'll bite their hand off for that.